Edge finishing. Now there's various different methods that you can use to finish the edge of your leather. Now you've got burnishing, edge burnishing. You have edge paint, a very popular one. You have other alternatives using leather itself, such as a turned edge, edge binding, French binding, and a few other niche edge finishing techniques. But I thought I'd try something out that I literally just thought of. And as an experiment, I'd like to kind of share the experiment with you. Now, it's a new technique that I've certainly never heard of. Maybe it's been done before, but I've never seen it. But laying there last night at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling, this is what I was thinking of when I should have been sleeping. Anyway, today I'm trying it out, and I'll try it out on camera with you, and we'll see together if it's something that is viable. Now, I've cut a piece of vegetable tan leather. This happens to be about 3 millimeters thick, firm leather. And I've cut a little bit of a curve there just to make it a little bit more complex. And I have here some goat skin. This happens to be in mauve, the color. And I've split it down to 0.4 millimeters. So I'm going to face it down. And I'm going to hold it nice and steady. The way I'm going to do that is just on a piece of card. I'm going to tape one end. Press that in. Tape the other end, but just stretch it very slightly. Not too much, just enough to keep it taut, keep it nice and still. Okay, so we have the flesh side of a piece of skived or split goat skin leather there, something nice and durable. I expect kangaroo would be very good for this. Now I'm going to take some PVA glue. Why am I using PVA glue? PVA glue soaks in and hardens leather fibers, which is why it's often used when you want to stiffen leather as well. But the join that it has between two pieces of leather, similar to wood, is it's actually stronger than the leather it's joining. So it's a very strong glue to use when used correctly. Incorrectly used PVA is no real benefit. So I'm going to lay down some PVA glue. The type I'm using is waterproof PVA. So it's likely it's going to come in contact with water during its life, depending on what kind of edge you're putting it on. For example, a wallet or a bag or something like that. Now this is an experiment. I have no guarantees of how durable it is. So it's something you should test out yourself. But this is the whole point of experimentation. This is how you find new ways of doing things, new techniques, new methods. As you're constantly testing and testing and testing. Not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes to be successful at something, you've got to go through a few failures. This is not something I'd put on, the corner of the base of a briefcase or something like that. You'd want something, a more durable technique. So I'm going to add a little bit to the edge of the main piece of leather that I'm actually finishing the edge of. So I'm adding it to both parts, and this edge has been roughened. And before these pieces of glue dry, I'm going to place down one side of it, make a cut just above it. And what I'm doing now is just rolling it all the way to the other side. And then I'm going to trim that as well. So this is what we have right now. So I'm just using my finger to make sure that's pressed in. And using my finger and thumb, I'm just going to go around those edges a little bit. But I don't want to press it onto the main leather. I want to still keep it open. But I'm just ensuring full contact. Now over the next few minutes, I'll periodically do the same thing with my finger, just making sure it's pressed in, just in case anything comes up. Now I'm not using contact adhesive, and I'll explain why later on, but I'm going to leave this now to dry for about 20 minutes. So I've given this about 20 minutes now. So it's nice and dry. I'm going to place this down, just trim that edge carefully. Same on the other side. And to trim, I'm going to take a small edge beveler. Okay, so this is a 0.6, I believe. It's a number 4. And I'm going to feed it between the guides of that thin leather. And this is why I'm using PVA are not rubber-based contact adhesive, which really sticks. I have tried it a few minutes prior to this. Didn't work too well. Same exact thing on the other side. It's my first time going around the curve. Doesn't seem to be too much trouble, to be honest. Just support it as you finish. And there you go. So you have a little bit of an edge of an edge. Okay, so the 0.4mm goatskin leather on the top there, just leaving a little bit of an exposed edge. So to combat that, I'm going to take some Tokonol. And just place a little bit on my fingers. Okay, just a little bit. And I'm going to hit the very sides of the edge only. Okay, if I was going to do this for real on undyed vegetable tan leather like this, I would have waxed the surface first of all to make it resistant to moisture and Tokonol. But as this is an experiment, now taking a burnisher, I'm just going to choose one that just hits the edges, hits those edges. Okay, so the second one in should begin. And I'm going to use the first one as well, just to hit the surface and begin rounding that leather a little bit. Second one hits more of the edge. And then just a light one, I can really hear that and feel that getting onto that Tokonol now. Give that a few minutes to dry. So there we are. So it makes for a really interesting looking edge finish. Of course, you can choose multiple colors, multiple different kinds of leather to work with. Just start with a thin strip. 0.4 is what I've used here. I haven't really experimented on different thicknesses and seeing how durable they are, but with good gluing technique, that should be stuck on there so that the glue line is actually stronger than either parts of the leather. So it shouldn't peel off. And that's why it's important to use waterproof PVA. Which in my opinion is going to be the best for this kind of technique. So what could you use this on? Well, you could use this on wallets, could potentially use it on card holders, things like that, small bags. But this is just an idea, something you can experiment with yourself, take it from here. I literally thought of it last night whilst lying in bed, and here it is. So comment below and let me know what you'd consider using this technique on, what you think it would be suitable for, what you think it wouldn't be suitable for. Very flexible, doesn't come off easily. I would, to be honest, trust that as much as edge paint. So there we go, I said it. And as you can see, it took a lot less time than using actual edge paint. So hey, have fun with it.